Welcome to Football with Cheese. Happy Labor Day, everyone. This video is being published on Tuesday. I'm recording it on Labor Day Monday. We're going to talk all college football in this video. I'm going to react to the games over the weekend, especially Texas, Ohio State. I actually watched it twice. I meant to DVR Virginia Tech, South Carolina because I was out. I did get home in time to watch the fourth quarter. So instead, this morning, I decided to rewatch Ohio State, Texas, and I noticed quite a few things that did not go well for Texas. But before we get into it, make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell for notifications so you never miss a video. I co-host the Sports Truth podcast with my buddy Mike every Tuesday night. So this is being published Tuesday. So tonight, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, link in the description. This Tuesday, tonight, we will do our NFL preview show. We're going to do predictions for awards, for playoffs, Super Bowl, all of that. We're also going to do the top 10 defenses. We do our top 10 at the end of the show. The top 10 defenses right now in the NFL. Lately, our top 10s have been very different. This one could be similar, at least our top 5. That's just a guess. So let's get into it. Texas lost 14-7 to Ohio State. Arch Manning, he looked so uncomfortable. You know he did not play well, if you've seen the stats. But he looked uncomfortable. He had no poise in the pocket. Texas lost 4 starters on that offensive line. DJ Campbell, the right guard, came back. But it looked like they lost 4 starters, especially right tackle. Brandon Baker struggled. He did not play well, including that last 4th down play. He just didn't block anybody. He let the rusher come, didn't even look at him. I don't know what he was thinking. But Cameron Williams was the right tackle. He was, I believe, a 5th or 6th round pick of the Eagles. He's known for giving up the play to Jack Sawyer, the strip fumble, return for touchdown that changed that whole game against Ohio State in the playoffs. But they could have used him because Brandon Baker struggled. Trevor Gooseby, their left tackle, looked pretty good. I think he has a chance to be a first-round pick in the NFL draft if he comes out. But the offensive line didn't look good. The receivers did not separate when Ohio State played man coverage. They lost Isaiah Bond, who's on the Browns, Matthew Golden, first-round pick of the Packers. None of the receivers are as good as either one of them. The receivers were not separating, and it caused Arch Manning to try to force it in a lot of times. Like I said, he didn't seem to trust the receivers. He did not trust the offensive line. It was just a disaster. I'll say this. He did make a couple really good throws. Like, out-of-this-world throws down the field, the touchdown, the 30-yard pass to the tight end, incredible. But most of the throws were just inaccurate, and mechanics were terrible. He kept throwing flat-footed, dropping his arm angle. When you throw flat-footed, your accuracy is going to be hurt. He wouldn't step into the throw. It's like he expected pressure. Just mechanics all over the place. And from a Manning, you do not expect bad mechanics. That's one thing about his 2 uncles. You watch Peyton Manning, he's so technically sound. And, you know, Arch has been in the Manning camp, I've heard since he was like 10 years old. He's been there. It's just hard to believe that a Manning has such horrible mechanics. The talent's there. I'm not giving up on him, but he's got a lot of work to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back next year. It's only been 1 game. He could be fine. He just kept throwing flat-footed, which is terrible mechanics. And the interception was bad. He almost threw a second one when he tried to Johnny Gunsling it in there. But that interception, it was late. It was lazy. The ball hung. Now, the receiver could have come back and helped him out a little. Still, it's more on Arch. But just overall, really bad. Most of his completions were checkdowns, minus those 2 huge plays. But Matt Patricia is the defensive coordinator of Ohio State. He's been head coach in the NFL. He's a very good defensive coordinator. Was not a good head coach. But he threw everything at him. Absolutely everything at Arch. Showed him zone, showed him man, threw pressure at him, had guys look like they were going to blitz and then drop back. Just threw so much at him, and it seemed to mess him up. Not only that, he didn't trust the offensive line or the receivers. Just a total disaster for Texas. But I'll say this. That 4th down play where that rusher came free because Brandon Baker just didn't block him. Arch, give him credit. He didn't go down. The pass rusher's on him, and he still got the ball for a completion. It was short of the 1st down, but it was a heck of a play by Arch Manning. Not everything was bad. I rewatched every single play of that game. Not all of it was bad. The first throw I still don't understand. That might have been his worst throw, worst interception. The very first throw he made, he had a wide open guy in his zone and threw it in the ground. I don't know what happened. This is not an Arch Manning breakdown channel. I'm going to do it for this game. I'm not sure how I'm going to do college football recaps. I think maybe every 3 or 4 weeks I'll do a recap and maybe talk about some prospects to watch for the NFL draft. Because if you don't know, the main focus of this channel is the NFL draft. And that's when I really start talking college players, is after the season, leading up to the draft. So, Ohio State, their defense looked great. As you see in a lot of these games, the defenses are ahead of the offenses every year. There's no preseason in college, so the defenses typically are ahead of the offenses. Sometimes we forget about Carnell Tate, the wide receiver of Ohio State. He was their number 3 wide receiver last year. Heck of a player. He could be a first-round pick. He could potentially be the second receiver off the board in the draft. I think Jordan Tyson, Arizona State, is the only receiver right now that's a top 20 pick, probably. But Carnell Tate looked good. He had a really good touchdown. We kind of forget about him because, they had Emeka Egbuka and they still have Jeremiah Smith. Caleb Downs, the safety for Ohio State, he's incredible. He's the best safety I've seen probably since Kyle Hamilton, and my God, he could be better if that's possible. Maybe since Eric Berry, going back that far. That's how good Caleb Downs is. Quickly, Clemson, LSU, I was surprised. Thought Clemson would be better. Cade Klubnik looked up and down. But losing Antonio Williams really hurt Clemson. I think the game plan must have been centered around him. Klubnik was going to feature him. So that really threw Clemson off. LSU really won 24-10, not 17-10. That should have been a touchdown. I don't know what a touchdown is or what a catch is. In the Texas game, how is that a touchdown? But in the LSU game, it's not. I just don't understand what a catch is. Real quick, Miami, Notre Dame. Miami looked better than expected. Their defense is much improved from last year. They have a really good defensive line. Notre Dame's offensive line struggled. I'm not worried about Clemson or Notre Dame. If you're a Clemson or Notre Dame fan, I'm not worried. The schedule is light, but a lot of offenses struggled. Look, Ohio State won the game. They only scored 14 points. So a lot of offenses struggled, more than even I expected. So don't worry, Clemson, Notre Dame fans. You'll be fine. They're probably both going to be in the playoff. Now, LSU and Miami looked really good. Both of these teams lost a lot. Carson Beck played much better than I thought. I'm not high on Carson Beck. If you watch the channel, you know I am not. He looked good. He looked more decisive. And Miami might be pretty darn good. We'll see. It's just 1 week. I was not expecting that. You lose Cam Ward, you lose a lot of receivers. They lost so much on offense. But Miami's defensive line is legit. Ruben Bain is an absolute stud. He's going to be a first-round pick, might be a top 10 pick. He's big, he's athletic, he's just a stud. Good luck blocking him. So Miami looked very good. LSU and Miami are both teams I didn't know what to do with because they got a lot of transfers. They didn't return a ton of starters, so I didn't pick either one in the playoff. Might look stupid down the line, but both those teams were impressive, and Brian Kelly really needed that. There's a lot of pressure on him this year to make the playoff, to become a contender. LSU does have a tough schedule, and we'll see what happens when they get into the SEC, but big win for them at Clemson. Certainly will help them down the line, and seeding goes. If they lose 2 SEC games, they're 10-2. They'll get in the playoff. If they had lost to Clemson, they were 9-3, probably not. So big win for them. Same with Miami. Oh, one more thing. Garrett Nussmeier for LSU. I think he's the best quarterback in the country at processing information quickly. It's something you're just born with. He throws the ball on time. He anticipates. He was throwing receivers open. And he is not as athletic as most quarterbacks in the NFL starters. He probably doesn't have the biggest arm, but I think he's going to make it. Kind of like Drew Brees. I'm not saying he's going to be Drew Brees, but someone on X was comparing him to Kirk Cousins, not super gifted, but will still be productive in the NFL. I think he has a higher ceiling than Cousins, but I get the comparison. But Nussmeier may be moving up my draft boards. We'll see. Now, who I am worried about, obviously Texas, because their offense looked like shit. And we're worried about Alabama. if you watch my prediction on the Sports True podcast, link in the description, I actually predict Alabama to win it all. I thought this was the most talented Alabama team in 3 years. But boy, they sucked on the lines. Offense and defensive line. Florida State kicked their ass. Just like Miami and LSU got a lot of transfers. Florida State went 2-10 last year. They look like a completely different team. Tommy Castellanos, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Castellanos. Transfer from Boston College, Central Florida before that. He looked really good. They really needed a quarterback. So Florida State dominating the trenches. So watch out for them. I'm not saying they're on the level of Clemson or Miami. We'll see. It's hard to go from 2 wins to 10 or 11, but I think it says more about Alabama. They look terrible. I feel bad for Ty Simpson. He played pretty well considering his offensive line wasn't giving him much help. He's got Ryan Williams, one of the best receivers in the country. Jeremy Bernard, hope I said that name right. He had a huge game. They have receivers, but the offensive line stunk. They couldn't run the ball. Ty Simpson was giving so much effort. He was running for his life, but he was fighting hard. Really like that guy. I think he's going to be a great prospect, but boy, he was not getting much help. And the defensive line was not good. Under Nick Saban, when he was there, the defensive line and offensive line was always good. Even when they weren't winning national titles, it was always good. And they both were bad against Florida State, who won 2 games last year. Let's talk Kalen DeBoer, head coach of Alabama. I thought it was a terrible hire at the time. Nick Saban retires. Kalen DeBoer came from Washington. He had been the runner-up to win the national title. They lost to Michigan, got whooped in that game. That Washington team had so much talent on it. Just look at the NFL draft in 2024. 3 receivers in the first 3 rounds, top 10 quarterback, Braylon Trice, edge rusher. So many great players. But Kalen DeBoer didn't recruit those players. He was only at Washington 2 years. And he had success at Fresno State, but he was only there 2 years. He didn't recruit those players either. So Kalen DeBoer just seems to luck into good situations, but I don't think he's a very good head coach at all. We're seeing how good Nick Saban really was. But Kalen DeBoer, I don't know if he's going to make it. I know the fans, you know how Alabama fans are. They already want him fired, but losing to Vandy last year was horrible. And Alabama didn't play well on the road. Off to a bad start this year. DeBoer's got to get this fixed, or he could be out of a job. If they go 8-4, he's gone. And they could be worse than 8-4. Who knows? The schedule is brutal. They don't look better than Tennessee right now. They don't look better than Georgia. They got to play those teams. But I'm worried if I'm a Bama fan. If I'm a Texas fan, I'm worried. Real quick, I'm going to have to skip some notes because this video is getting long. South Carolina beat Virginia Tech. We mentioned that in the college football preview video last week. Why was South Carolina only favored by 7.5? Obviously, Vegas thinks Virginia Tech is better than most people. Looks like they were right. That game was a lot closer than the score. 24-11 final. Really 2 big plays changed that game. There was an 80-yard punt return by Vakari Swain, and then Nick Harbor had the 64-yard catch from Lenore Sellers. So those 2 plays were the game. Virginia Tech played them really well. Lenore Sellers, he's so gifted. He could win the Heisman. He can throw. He can run. He could be the first pick in the draft. Who knows? There are a lot of candidates. Long season to go, but South Carolina gets that win. Watch out for Virginia Tech to maybe knock off some of these ranked ACC teams as we go forward. Tennessee looked good. They whooped Syracuse. Joey Aguilar looked better than expected. I think they're going to be fine at quarterback. In fact, they may have upgraded. More on that in a second. But the biggest worry for me with Tennessee was replacing Dylan Sampson, who had an unbelievable year at running back. However, they have a 3-headed monster. Peyton Lewis, Deshaun Bishop, and Star Thomas. All of them are bigger than Sampson, but all had good games. Peyton Lewis got the fewest amount of carries. To me, he's the best pro prospect of any of them. He's big. He's like 220. So they can play a lot different style with these running backs. Dylan Sampson was 195, 198. More explosive than these guys, but Star Thomas, Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis, they were running people over. So more power runners. But I like that 3-headed monster. Tennessee won 45-26. I think they're going to be better than people think. I picked them in the playoff. I picked them 10-2 in the playoff. So they're making me look smart right now. Like I said, it's only 1 game. And then UCLA, Utah whooped them. Kicked the shit out of them. And Nico Imamalieva, I don't know how to say his name. Nico not going to be starting much longer anyway, the way you played. He transferred from Tennessee. He wanted more money. Ended up getting less money with higher taxes in California, UCLA. What an idiot. He's a complete moron, and he played terrible. And Utah looked amazing. I picked him to win the Big 12, and the main reason is they finally have a quarterback that runs the offense that Kyle Whittingham wants to do, the run-pass option, and it worked so well. Devon Dampier, he's a transfer from New Mexico. He can run it. He had an amazing game, 21 of 25 passing and 87 yards rushing. Sleeper Heisman candidate there, Devon Dampier. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell for notification. Tonight, Sports True Podcast, 9 Eastern, 6 Central. Link in the description. I also write articles for PackersTalk.com. If you're a Green Bay Packer fan or a football fan in general, check those out. Links in the description. If you have not, share this with anyone who loves football so we can grow the channel. We talk college football, NFL, and like I said, we focus on the draft. If you like the content, please give me a thumbs up. Helps out the channel. Make sure you check these out, and I'll see you in the next video.